So our original plan today included no talk at all of Donald Trump, but then came a White House meeting open to the media, followed by a press conference where the president covered a lot of ground and left more than a few heads spinning.
We are preparing for the military to secure our border between Mexico and the United States.
Amazon is going to have to pay much more money to the post office. There's no doubt about that.
I think I could have a very good relationship with Russia and with President Putin.
Yeah, we'll get to those first two things in a minute, but let's explore that last one a little more. As you may have heard, Russia can be a bit of a touchy issue with this president, perhaps even more so after prosecutors filed documents last night showing Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein told Special Counsel Robert Mueller that he should investigate whether former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort was, quote, colluding with Russian government officials to interfere in the 2016 election. You heard that right, collusion. Good luck to Rosenstein after that revelation. But Trump did not shy away from the Russia issue today, bringing it up multiple times to drive home his point.
Getting along with Russia is a good thing, not a bad thing. Now, maybe we will and maybe we won't. And probably nobody's been tougher to Russia than Donald Trump. Getting along with Russia would be a good thing, not a bad thing. And just about everybody agrees to that, except very stupid people.
Like all the stupid people who say Russia's been trying to change the outcome of our elections for years. But never just one and done. The president also hit on another favorite topic of his in recent days. That, of course, would be Amazon.
The post office is losing billions of dollars, and the taxpayers are paying for that money because it delivers packages for Amazon at a very below cost. If you look at the cost that we're subsidizing, we're giving a subsidy to Amazon, and we're talking about billions of dollars a year.
Are we, though? Whether true or not, attacks like these have been hitting Amazon's stocks hard. Joining me to discuss are Dan Primack, business editor at Axios. Good to see you, Dan. And Jim Rapport, director at the New Boston Fund and former chair of the Massachusetts Republican Party. Jim, it's good to see you. Also a big-time business guy in your former life.
And an Amazon Prime member.
And so. Make that two, and we won't even ask you to disclose.
I'm not, but that's okay.
Can you explain something to me? Putting aside either misunderstandings or misrepresentations, talking about Amazon now, why would an American president ever savage a leading American company, not once, not twice, not three times, but four times in a week? What's the point?
One is, I don't know. And simply put, though, this is a deal that was made 5 years ago when the post office was absolutely desperate. It probably is a lousy deal for the post office, but they've made lots of lousy deals. And it used to be like the toll takers here. People said, well, it was a negotiated deal. Well, it was negotiated by one group of thieves with another group of thieves.
But it's the same deal that all mass mailers a la Amazon have with the post office. He also said they don't pay taxes to states. In fact, they do pay taxes to states. So what do you think is the motivation? The conventional wisdom is he has such contempt for the Washington Post. Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, not Amazon, but Jeff Bezos owns that and owns Amazon, so connect the dots. That's what it's about.
And we were the first to report this last week before his tweets. Yeah, look, the conventional wisdom is right. The Bezos Amazon Washington Post thing is real. There's also a secondary thing. Donald Trump, when you hear him talk about business, is often stuck in the 1980s. It's one of the reasons he talks about Japan being a problem as much as he talks about China. But when you think about that, he does believe wholeheartedly that Amazon is something that's killing Main Street retailers. The reason you think of Bezos, though, is he doesn't say it about Walmart. He doesn't say it about Target.
But, you know, Jonathan Swan, one of your colleagues, had another thought the other day that it's also because a lot of his very wealthy friends are getting croaked by Amazon, and this is sort of a thing thrown to them. You buy that?
I absolutely buy that, yeah.
So let's talk about the political side of you, not the business side of you. Trump's poll numbers are going up. Everybody says they're going up because of the economy. The only Republican hope, at least in the House in the midterm elections, is the economy. We saw what happened Monday when the stock market got spooked over this Amazon thing, tech stocks in general. How does this help his cause, even if he's got a wonderful reason to savage this company?
Well, it's a bit like reinvigorating the steel industry and the coal industry. It helps him in the certain areas which are critically important to him, and certainly where some of these races are going to be held is one possible. And the other is
brick and mortar America. Is that what you mean?
To a certain extent, maybe. You know, I mean, that there's some of the people who actually might like still to go to stores. And I do think that there is part of him that does believe that they're becoming overwhelmingly large and that big is not necessarily better. And, historically it hasn't been better.
Are you not in agreement with that?
Yeah, I do agree with that, although it's tricky. Amazon, and this is one of the problems when you talk about kind of antitrust stuff when it comes to Amazon or even Facebook and Google. Most people love these services. Now, Facebook and Google because they're free utilities essentially. Amazon because you get stuff to your house really, really quickly, and it's as cheap, if not cheaper, than the store.
Yeah. There's no question. Most of us do a tremendous amount of shopping on Amazon. And when it started with, remember, you and I are old enough to remember when they were just a bookseller.
And how does this end, though? Does it end, or is
I think it ends, and I think the markets today. Amazon went up today for the first time, despite some more tweets this morning, which makes me think that the markets are starting to look at this and say, you know what, this might be more bluster than anything else. Now, the Postal Service contract's a real thing because the contract's up in October. They have to renegotiate soon, but there's no reason to believe they're going to renegotiate it in a way that hurts Amazon. Again, the parcel delivery is what's saving the post office right now. It's their pension liabilities that are killing them.
Okay, so I said I didn't understand that, and you tried to explain it to me. This one I do understand, but we'll talk about it anyway. Here's Donald Trump today talking about the wall.
We have very bad laws for our border. We're going to be doing things militarily. Until we can have a wall and proper security, we're going to be guarding our border with the military.
And I'm assuming that what I think I understand here is, during the campaign, he said at virtually every single stop the following. Here's Donald Trump, candidate.
Who's going to pay for the wall?
So since Mexico is obviously not going to pay for the wall, I'm guessing this is an attempt for the hardcore who voted for him because of the Mexico pay for the wall thing to say, I'm still tough on immigration. Is that what this is about?
Well, first of all, there aren't a whole lot of us who thought that Mexico was going to write a check for the wall. There's certainly
You don't think a lot of people at those rallies believe that when 25,000 of them were chanting Mexico?
Yeah, maybe. I honestly, no. I think it was a part of the show, and it was a great show. You got to admit, it was a great show.
Got him a good job.
It got him a good job. But when you look at it, I think, vis-a-vis the wall, I mean, when you talk about him bringing troops down there now, what he's really saying is we have a right to control our borders. And it amazes me the number of people, particularly on the left, who say we don't have a right to control our borders. We've got a caravan that's working its way up through Mexico right now, and the Mexicans aren't stopping it, which is absurd.
It's the same caravan that goes every 5 years, virtually none of whose members ever reach the Mexican border, and it has nothing to do with coming into America. That's what Donald Trump says, but it has nothing to do with coming into America.
Well, it has to do with showing that they have a right to. I mean, you listen to folks on the left have been saying that we, because of all the bad actions we've done in South America and Central America over the years, they have a right to come to this country. And you're going, really?
You know, he's not the only guy that sent troops to the wall, we should say in the spirit of fairness, including Barack Obama.
Right.
So is this a legitimate thing on his part?
When he says it, the image that you get is where you're going to have troops on the walls with guns and doing immigration enforcement. But that legally, they can't do that. They can't do immigration enforcement. They can help with things like construction, so you could build the wall, except he doesn't have enough money to do that. They can do paperwork. They can support the Border Patrol. But you're not going to see what I think Trump is kind of suggesting in that, which is, again, people basically literally guarding the border and doing immigration
enforcement. Well, the other thing
he
can't do legally is have the Pentagon pay for this, which was the ploy, for lack of a better expression, last week, but it needs congressional approval. You know, Jim, you said about a dozen times there what the left was saying. Let me read you a tweet from the right, I would argue. This would be President Donald Trump exactly a month ago. 45-year lows, February 28th, on illegal border crossings this year. ICE and Border Patrol agents are doing a great job for our country. MS-13 thugs being hit hard. So on February 28th, the border was secured beautifully, without a big, beautiful wall. Everything was going great. And a month later, the same president needs to send troops to the border to secure it?
Well, primarily because of this caravan coming through that everybody's making such a big deal of.
Well, which Fox News is making a big deal of, and Trump watches Fox News. I mean,
it did come from Fox News. You know, that they were doing in the morning and a few hours later.
I've been traveling, so I've been near the border. I was down south.
Can we end with 1 minute review? Since you do business stuff and you're a pretty successful business guy, how would you rate him, 14 months in, as a business guy? He's getting pretty high marks on the economy from voters across this country.
Look, the economy has been good. I would argue
because of him?
No, I would argue it was good when he came in, and it is still good. It's gotten a little bit stronger. Look, if you want pure business, look, tax cuts in the short term are good and stimulate the economy in the short term. The question is longer term and what it does to the budget and then what it does to debt. It's a longer term issue. In the short term, yeah, it's candy for everybody.
How's he done?
I will tell you the part that a lot of people miss is the regulatory change. The whole mood on that has been unbelievable. I've been in 11 states since January. Not just businessmen. It's truckers and workers and union folk, they love that basically people are saying to get the government stop getting in my way and let me go do stuff.
Are they going to like it when fuel emission standards disappear?
They're not going to disappear, and they're not. And what the EPA is being told is to live within the law and not create law.
They might not disappear, but Scott Pruitt may. Can we, maybe? Yeah.
No, he's staying as long as he wants to.
It's great to see you. Thanks so much, Dan. Jim, pleasure.
Good to see you,
always.
always.
Really appreciate your time.